Hi everyone! In today's video I'm going to show you how to make tie-back bases. So you have these beautiful tie-backs, which you probably have lots of them in your stash already, but they have these nice soft stretchy sort of bases to them which goes around your baby's head. And I'm going to be showing you how to make this bit. So they come in all sorts of colours and all sorts of embellishments on top of them. They all often have this stretchy, soft base to them. And wouldn't it be great if you can actually make these yourself and then you can stick on anything you want onto them. There's a funky white one with a nice big bow. So the other bonus about this video and this technique is you don't have to go out to a shop and buy loads of fabric. You can actually find this material in your home. So I've made these bases already. So this is just a plain basic stretchy base. And I've got different colours of them. Now these ones, let me move these out of the way. I have actually made them from t-shirts. So the material, the fabric that you get in a t-shirt is the perfect fabric. It's soft, it's stretchy, it's thin enough, and that's, it's just perfect. So, as I say, these ones are all made from t-shirts. So have a rummage in your wardrobes, drawers, and find any clothes which you don't want anymore, or go to charity shops and find t-shirts which people don't want anymore that you can use. Even kids t-shirts. So this is a kids t-shirt, as you can tell. And these are both adult t-shirts. And sometimes, so the kids t-shirt might not be sort of wide enough. Of course, this is quite a little kids, my little daughter that's grown out of. It's quite short. But don't be afraid to use the seam, because often this will be behind the baby's head. You won't see it, so it doesn't matter that you've got a seam in it. And that's what I've done in this one here. So you see it's still got this seam bit on the end here. But once you tie it behind, so if I show you, we're going to tie, once they're cut, we're going to tie a knot in the back of them. Like that. So you don't see the seam then anymore. So it's perfectly fine to include that, it doesn't matter. Right, so I'm going to show you three sort of ways of doing it. So it's just up to your sort of preference. So first one, let's use this nice kids t-shirt first. Right, so obviously we're not going to cut, I'm not going to use the print bit where it says Best Sister. We're going to use the back, which is nice, clean, plain, no patterns on it, and nice purple colour. So obviously search, only use colours which you want to use as the basis. So obviously paler colours might be best, but you might want a nice bright purple like this one. So there's three ways we can do it. You can either measure out and draw with a pen your line to cut along, or you can use a template, or you can do it by eye. And I often do it by eye because I'm happy that I'm quite good at cutting in a straight line. So I have made a template, and I'll put underneath a link to my blog which will have the sizes on there for you. This is sort of optimum size that I've kind of worked out, but it doesn't really matter. They can be, you can experiment with a bit in longer or shorter if you find that they're too tight or too loose. You can also play around with the width of them. I found this is sort of optimum width for sticking things on. It depends how big or little the kind of embellishments that you're going to be sticking onto them. And also you'll see that they're quite curled up, whereas actually it's 3 centimeters. This is the width that I've cut them to, like that, which I think is the perfect width. But as you will find out, when you then pull them, they curl up, which is the sort of typical thing you see. So when it goes around the baby's head, you see the sort of nice curled up bit, but you can open it out to be able to stick or attach anything on the flat bit. So let's go ahead and try this one. So first of all, we don't want this kind of hem along the bottom. So find some scissors, fairly sharp scissors that are going to cut fabric. But to be honest, it doesn't really matter if it's a little bit rough or not perfectly straight. Because I say, because the ends are going to curl in, then you're not really going to see them. So don't worry too much. So first job is to cut off the end, because we're not going to use that bit. So I'm going to do it by eye because I've got a kind of line of stitches anyway. So I'm literally just going to cut a straight line. That and get rid of that bit. So now we've got a rough-ish straight line along the end. Now I'm going to because this is quite a short t-shirt, a kid's t-shirt. This is the template. Now if I lay the template along, if you can see that, you'll see that the t-shirt is too short for the template. So I'm going to have to use the hems around the edge. I'm going to have to go round the back and use the whole lot, which might cut into my lettering a bit, but it shouldn't matter because we're probably going to only use the ends. We will find out. So I'm going to do this one by eye like I did the hem. So I use my template to just roughly see where I'm going to go into. So I'm going to start cutting about here. So I use my template for that. So I'm going to start off here. So I'm going to do a little cut. And I'm going to move my template out of the way. It's going to move around. And I'm going to just cut by eye in a straight line along here, following the cut that I already did. And I'm cutting through both bits. So cutting through 2 layers of the t-shirt. Oh, also I didn't explain the stretch. So on a t-shirt or on a normal fabric, it matters sort of which way it stretches. So on a tie back, I obviously need it to be the most stretchy going this way round along the whole length, and not if we'd cut it the other way, because it's not stretchy. So you can see on the fabric, you can see like tiny kind of little lines, and they go this way, sort of vertical down the t-shirt, from the top of the t-shirt, the neck of the t-shirt downwards. That's the kind of stretchy bit where we need them to stretch outwards. So the most stretch, you test it, most stretch is going this way, not this way. I mean, it does stretch a bit, but it's not quite as much, and it doesn't flow. It's not as smooth. So we're always going to want to cut our t-shirt kind of along this bit. We're going to be cutting, which is lucky, we're going to be cutting along the bottom bit. That's going to be our tie back, not this way. Right, so back to the cutting. Make sure it's all nice and smooth and in alignment. And then, yep, I'm going to cut in a straight line from where I started. go. So I now have a whole length. So, because it's a whole circle at the moment, I'm going to cut along where one of the hems are. I'm going to cut on there. So now we have a whole length. So I now need to make sure I've got the right length. So I'm going to use my template to get the right length, which is to here. Make sure I cut off the whole of this little hem bit on the end. I don't need that bit. And there we have our first tie back. So as you can see, it's quite flat at the moment, but as soon as I pull it, okay, it folds in and you have that lovely pattern, that lovely curl, that's quite cute. And we've got a bit of hem included, but like I say, that's going to go around the back. You're not really going to see that bit, or you could stick something on top of that bit to cover it up. But that's the joy of upcycling and the joy of using, you know, old clothes and not having to buy fabric. So if you had to, you can obviously buy sheets of fabric and cut these from it, but you know, you're gonna have to buy quite a bit, and you don't want that many of the same colour. So this is the perfect solution and cheaper. Right, so I'll show you a next way of doing it. So that was doing it by eye and just cutting without, you know, using a template or measuring. Right, so next time I've got a nice grey t-shirt, which is too big for me now, so I would make use of it. So again, first job is going to be to cut this hem off the bottom. So on this one, it's quite curved. So we're definitely going to need to straighten that up. So lay it out as flat as you can. Then we're going to cut in a straight line. Straight as you can be, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. There we go. I've cut off quite a lot because it had quite a curve to it and quite a shallow bit on here on both sides. So you see that's quite close there. So that's why I cut quite a bit off. Right, so now we have a nice straight line in which we can cut our tie back. So on this one, I'm going to use my template, which as you can see, I've still got a bit of a curve. It wasn't very straight. Right, on this one, because it's an adult t-shirt, I've got plenty of room top and bottom. So I've got my template and I'm going to actually pin it top and bottom, and maybe one in the middle. So I can then cut against my template and make a better straight line. Right, then I'm ready to cut. So I'm literally just going to cut along the edge of my template. Again, I'm cutting through both layers of t-shirt. And we get 2 tiebacks for the price of 1 then. Then I'm going to proceed to cut the other side, get rid of this curved bit. Okay, so now we can take our pins out of the template. There we go, so again we can cut either side of the hems. Okay, we've only got one on this. And there we have 2 ready-made tiebacks. So again, it's nice and flat at the moment. If I pull either end, you get the crinkled effect, the curled effect. Same with that one. Okay. So yeah, nice, 2 nice grey tiebacks, ready to stick something onto them. So that was using a template, which might be the best way of doing it to get it perfectly straight. Otherwise, you can literally just use a tape measure and a pen to draw the line if you don't want to print out or cut out a template. So this time I have again another adult t-shirt, a nice minty colour. And again, this one's got a sort of star on the front of it, so I definitely want to use the back. So again, we've got to cut off this hem right at the bottom first. So if we, this time we're going to draw, we're going to measure out, our pen ready, and I'm going to sort of draw a straight line where we can cut. And it needs to be rough. Right, then I've got a rough line to cut along. There we go, that's the hem taken off. So now we need to draw out another line. So I'm going to measure out by 3 centimetres along here. So I know I'm starting. And then I'm going to again mark out just a rough line. go, and then I can cut along my line. Find it much easier cutting when your fabric's flat, like on the ground or on a table, rather than kind of up in the air. Get a much smoother kind of rhythm going with your scissors. Then try and cut over your pen mark so you don't get that in the final piece, in the final tie back. Again, it's not going to matter too much. Okay, so again, we now find those hem bits, cut those off, on each side on this one. Okay, and now we have two nice minty tiebacks. So it's basically whichever technique you're happy with doing. If you don't want to cut out a template, then just measure it out and draw a line, or just do it by hand. I've been laying them out and kind of just literally, measuring out the straight line to start off with along the hem, but then just follow it, because then you've got a kind of guide already to follow. So, whichever way you're happy with doing, and just have fun with it. You've now got an easy way of making bases, and then you can watch lots of my other videos which will show us how to make embellishments and how to attach them onto these bases. But this is your starting point. You need these bases to make lovely tiebacks. Obviously bases can come in all sorts of other materials, which you can see in my other videos, but these are good bases. So they're nice, soft, stretchy. They're easy to use on a newborn. So have a go. Find old t-shirts, and you're ready. You're set. So I hope you enjoyed this useful video, and I'll see you again soon.